Let me put my rings on. I'm not going to fight anyone tonight. Not really. Not really. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello! My name is Amparo and today I'm going to talk about racists. And not just any racists, no. Very popular and well-liked and supported racists who feel the need to continue being racist despite being racist. I feel like there's a lot that we can unpack in this conversation. I'm only going to be talking about the ones that I feel are the most annoying. There's a very fine line between you being a racist author and just like only writing white characters in your stories and only talking about and boosting other white voices within the publishing industry because that's what you know, that's what you're comfortable with, that's what you are. That's one side of the racism coin, I guess.
There's a racism coin. I didn't know this. I know this now.
The other side of the coin is, of course, racists who not only are white and not only
It's not a rooster, it's a dog. Welcome to my life.
authors who are writing from the perspective of BIPOC characters and profiting off of these narratives that are not theirs, inherently theirs. Of course, you can write about different characters in your worlds. It's actually a good practice to not pretend that everyone is just white in your story. There's a lot that can be said about authors who are white and are just claiming narratives and taking spots from own voices authors and authors who just have more of a direct experience with the things that these white authors are writing about. And this is where it gets a little bit trickier. If you're a white author who is profiting off of these narratives, you should own up to that. And someone is telling you that the representation or something in your story is harmful, disrespectful, incorrect, or just plain ridiculous in the way that it is racist, you should listen. My main gripe with authors of fantasy in general, specifically young adult fantasy, these authors, I understand they're my colleagues.
That does not make you my friend.
So there's two things that I need to talk about in this specific environment that we're living in. One is the author themselves or the authors themselves who are refusing to listen and refusing to respect the audience that they're trying to cater to. And sometimes they're not even trying to cater to this audience. They're just trying to cater to the white gaze, not necessarily catering to the people that they're writing about. They have put the bare minimum into their books, and you can tell, even if you're not from a specific marginalization. For example, if I'm reading a novel written by a white author and it features a black main character, I am not an African American woman or girl, teenage girl, but I can tell when something is just inauthentic or not inauthentic, just plain wrong and disrespectful. So those authors who choose to do this, some of them would benefit from what is known as sensitivity readers, or not some of them, all of them would benefit from sensitivity readers, or even better, just, you know, respect the audience, respect your characters, respect the people that have in fact experience with whatever it is that you're trying to do here. I have absolutely nothing nice to say about you if you don't listen and if you act defensively towards BIPOC creators, readers, people in general, who tell you that you have made a harmful choice, or that your work is racist, or that your depictions of XYZ community is or are wrong. Why must you feel the need to come after people that know more about this than you? Why do you feel the need to tell others that they're wrong and not look at yourself in a mirror and wonder, maybe I'm wrong too? I'm just going to assume that you're a smart person because you wrote a book. Not everyone who writes a book is actually good at writing, but I'm going to assume that you know what things are, essentially. And I'm being very generous. Their intentions do not add up to their actions. And I don't care if your intention was to, oh my god, depict this poor community who hasn't had the opportunity to be seen in literature often. Oh my god, my intention was to be or create positive portrayals about this YXC community, whatever it is. Your intentions don't matter when your actions are still very much racist and still very much disrespectful. So that's on you. As a person, as an individual, you made the decision, you made the choice to be harmful and to be disrespectful and to be racist. This is something that you need to come to terms with. And then you need to understand that everything that you create is out there for public consumption. Oh, the premise was boring. Oh my god, the love triangle was so bad. Or the ending was disappointing. Or the world building just wasn't clear enough. Those are all valid critiques. However, there will be people who will read your book and say, wow, this person is a blatant racist. Or wow, this person isn't as blatant with their racism. You kind of have to look deeper or read between the lines to find the problematic rep here. It's still racism. It's still wrong. So you're not entitled to feeling like you have no room for critique. You have no room to be called out. Your work does not just belong to you. Your money belongs to you, but your money was given to you by readers who don't really know, or even worse, don't really care who you're harming, because they themselves are harming others. They are also contributing to an empire, let's just call it an empire. I wonder why I'm calling it an empire. They are contributing to a very disgusting, harmful, gross, wrong empire. Let me not act like the writer or the author is the only person involved here, and that's what I was trying to get to. Your publisher is supporting you. They are the ones paying you to put these stories out in the world. They agree with you in the sense that they feel like these books belong on shelves. Whether they agree with you morally, whether they agree with you in terms of their intentions.
Oh my god, we never intended to publish a racist book.
It doesn't matter because the content is still there. You are still putting out work that is harmful. You are still putting these books on shelves. You are putting them in bestseller lists. You are taking every single opportunity to let others know of these books' existence. You are telling others, here, read this book because you should read this book. I don't care if you meant to be racist or not. It doesn't take away from the fact that you are racist. So publishing is at fault, the author is at fault, but you know who else is at fault? The author's friends or the author's colleagues who support their work. Since my friend is the problem and is being problematic, I'm just gonna look away, pretend that they're not doing anything. I'm just gonna focus on my own stuff. You know, I have so much to do. Like, I'm a parent, I'm married, I have 500 things to do because I'm white and I have a lot of opportunities, so I have to do all of that. If you look at some of the most popular authors, white authors of course, on Twitter or Instagram, others have noted this, but I would like to repeat it anyway. Stop Asian Hate, that hashtag, was never tweeted by any of the white authors who have appropriated Asian narratives, specifically Eastern Asian narratives. If you look at the Black Lives Matter hashtag, you may or may not have seen some white authors tweeting about Black Lives Matter. You may or may not have seen, specifically now, white authors boosting Black voices. But it's all done as a response to something terrible, or it's done as part of a trend. It's not seen as a way of actual justice or a means to create a more equal, more balanced, more fair environment for all of us. No, it's done as like,
oh my god, this person is tweeting that, then I should tweet that, otherwise people are gonna think that I'm a bad person.
If you only buy or boost voices when something terrible happens within the industry or outside of it in just regular daily life, you are not the ally you think you are. You are not being a true friend of BIPOC creators and people in general. You are just part of a moment. And unfortunately for you, we remember everything. A lot of people will say there are negatives to social media, and the negatives for us BIPOC are ever present. There's never a,
Oh, maybe it's safe today to call this white author out. Maybe it's good for me to just say, oh, did you know that this book is problematic? Did you realize that this author wrote about this marginalization in a really bad way? Did you?
No, that's never a good day to do that. These white authors have what is known as racist fans who support their work and are going to be like,
You're blowing this out of proportion. There is no way that my fave is a racist. There's just no way that like you can say these things about my fave and get away with it. I have opinions and mine are better than yours.
maybe publishing forgets certain things, maybe publishing moves on from one issue to the next very quickly. Social media is ever changing in the sense that maybe something is discussed today and tomorrow we move on to the next topic. But hurt and hate last. You cannot sweep things under the rug because they benefit you. You cannot act like people complaining is actually people complaining. There is valid criticism and valid pain that needs to be explored and acknowledged by the people who cause it and the people who perpetuate it. How many times are we going to have this conversation? How many times are we going to bring up problematic people getting multiple chances to succeed when BIPOC authors, specifically debuts, rarely get the same opportunities just because they're not white? I hate that some of my friends, author friends, have mentioned how heartbroken they are, how down on their luck they feel because they don't see a future in publishing that includes support or that includes any sort of safe space for them to keep creating. They're not feeling comfortable in their dream field. And that is horrifying to hear and horrifying to see, because as much as you want to support them and tell them, no, it's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Keep creating. There will always be a place for you in this industry. Nothing is really backing that statement up, is it? Nothing. So how do you actually tell your BIPOC authors, whether you're in the publishing industry, whether you're a reader, how do you tell authors who are not white that they deserve to have success and they deserve to be supported when everything points to the opposite? I personally feel like I can keep going. I will keep going as long as I want to and feel like it, because first of all, I have a lot of stories in me. So even if publishing keeps telling me, well, there's no space for you here, I'm gonna still keep pushing, because I don't know if this is important to you or not, but I
really just like being annoying.
But I understand that not everyone is going to have my mindset of like, yeah, I'm going to keep pushing because I believe in myself. They can believe in themselves, but if no one else is believing in them, what do you think that's going to do? Do you think that you're going to see multiple books by that same author? No, you're going to probably just see their debut, and if you're lucky, that second book in that same book deal. What if these authors and their fans or their readers, actually, I venture into calling them stans, because readers think. Stans don't think, do they? They just follow to the point where they stop being thinking rational humans. You see people justifying the worst in human nature. You see people thinking, this belongs on my shelves. And that is going to cause a lot of BIPOC authors to stop wanting to be part of this industry. It's already doing that, and it's already done it, but I don't want that to continue. So if something is problematic and you're causing that problem, you're causing that harm, own up to it. And when people are addressing it, listen very carefully, listen, own up to your shit and do what needs to be done. If you're a friend of this author or a friend of these authors, multiple authors out there who are causing harm, and you're like, well, they're a good person, really, or you know what, I understand, they did one bad thing, they did one oopsie, that should not define them as a person or their whole career. You are invalidating the voice of an entire community because why? Because you want to be on good graces with someone who sucks? Is that what you want? You want to be friends with someone who sucks so much ass that you are willing to be the ass as well? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it because I understand how privilege works, theoretically speaking, not from experience, but you gotta stop. My advice, Don't be racist. There are consequences to your actions. Publishing might give you chances. Publishing might tell you to your face or in an email or wherever it is. They might tell you,
Yes, there is space for you in everyone's shelves. We want you here.
well, guess what? BIPOC authors, BIPOC readers, we don't want you here. You are not a perfect person, and whoever is telling you that you are needs to stop because it's false. Just keep that in mind the next time you want to be problematic, because problems have solutions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you feel just as angry as I am. Support BIPOC authors, support BIPOC creators. Do not give money to these weird racist scoundrels. I have not used that word in so long. It's such a weird word for me, scoundrels. But they're scoundrels essentially. So yeah. I hope you have a lovely day, evening, or whatever it is that you're watching this. I will see you next time. Stay awesome, everyone. Bye!